Howdy, I'm Jack Wheeler, and today we're going to talk about this book. It's called the Jade Steps. It's my first novel. It's a historical novel. And it is the story of one of history's most extraordinary women. Her name was Malinali, and she was a princess, and this is a true story. Many eyewitnesses. Her name was Malinali, and she was a princess, the only daughter of a king, and she was being raised to be a princess, raised to be the queen. And when she was 12, her father died, evidently by a heart attack or something, but he died. And her mother, that she never really got along with, her mother married another man. And they had a son. And they decided they wanted that son to grow up to be the king. She didn't like the daughter Malinali anyway. So her mother sold her into slavery. That's a true story now. Sold her into slavery, and she was taken off to another kingdom, spoke another language, and was raised in the, was a slave in the household. At least she wasn't out there in the fields. And she was a slave for about 7 years. She's now about 19 years old. And one day, these strangers showed up. And nobody knew where the strangers were from. But the strangers looked dangerous because they had swords and stuff. And so the king's soldiers said, "We got to attack them." And they said, "But they haven't attacked us." Said, "We know soldiers when we see them. These are warriors. Attack them." So they attacked the strangers, and the strangers just cleaned them out. I mean, just, destroyed them. So they all retreated into the forest, and the king called all his men in from all his other towns around his kingdom, and he assembled thousands and thousands of warriors to attack the strangers again. There's only about 400 of the strangers. And so they met at this battlefield, and the strangers once again proceeded to just clean their clock. I mean, just kick their butts. I mean, it just destroyed them. And they all had to retreat. Some of them got captured. And the king had to go to his capital, and where the strangers had taken over, and sue for peace. Thinking that, well, this is it. I'm going to get killed or drawn and quartered or eaten or whatever. And the first thing he noticed is that his palace wasn't destroyed, nothing was burned down, nothing was really touched. Any old people were left alone, nothing was looted. The strangers were just encamped in the main central square. And there was one of the strangers who spoke their language and who spoke for the leader of the strangers. And so the king communicated with him, and through the leader, through the man who spoke the language, said, "We came in peace. So we don't know why you attacked us, and you attacked us twice. So if you attack us a third time, we're going to kill you all. I mean, that's the end of it. We're going to kill you all. So don't attack us again." And the king said, "Okay, all right, I won't do that." He said, "All right, so we're going to go now. But we came in peace. We're going to come back. Don't you attack us again, we'll kill you all." And that's it. And the king says, that's it? I mean, you're not going to take everything I have? You're not going to kill me? You're not going to kill a whole bunch of people in revenge? That's it? And the leader says, "Yeah, we came in peace." And the king says, "Well, okay." So he awards 20 slave girls to the strangers, because you don't have any women. You need them to cook for you and take care of you. And there's 20 slave girls, and Malinali was one of them. And before Malinali goes off with the strangers, her third set of masters, the king asks the stranger, "May I ask your leader's name?" And the leader very proudly answers, "My name is Hernando Cortez." This is the story of the liberation of Mexico by one of history's most extraordinary women. She is the one who explained to Cortez, her father's dream, that the Aztecs were murderous, cannibalistic, unbelievably evil people that slaughtered thousands and thousands and thousands of sacrifices so that the sun would keep rising in the morning. They were an impossibly evil empire. And they had conquered all these other kingdoms, of which Malinali's father, his kingdom was one. And she explained to Cortez how to liberate Mexico from Aztec evil. They called Cortez Malinche. Malinche, you always see it. Malinson, they pronounced it Malinche. And that means master of Molina. That's what they called Malinali, Molina. Master of Molina. When Cortez won, why, they started calling her La Malinche, means master of herself. And she became worshipped as the liberating, almost demigoddess for all the different tribes and the peoples of Mexico. The great tragedy is that Mexico was taken over by Marxist intellectuals who wanted to separate themselves from Spain and everything that's evil in Spain. And so they turned Malinche, the great hero of Mexico's liberation, into a traitor. She was a traitor to her own people. She wasn't an Aztec. The Aztec had tyrannized her people just like all the others. She was a liberator. But the word La Malinche, a Malinchista, means a traitor in Mexico today. This is the great civil war within Mexico's soul. There is a civil war between the Indian part and the Spanish part, when most Mexicans are part Spanish and part Indian. So I wrote my book, The Jade Steps, to help heal the civil war within Mexico's soul. I hope you enjoy it. It's on Kindle, it's on Amazon. Thanks.